tax extension that would have funded stadium efforts by both the Chiefs and the Kansas City Royals, who want to build a new baseball stadium. Governor Mike Parson, meanwhile, says one of his goals before leaving office is to have some sort of state aid package put together that would persuade both teams to remain in Missouri. The state of Kansas recently authorized an incentives package to try and lure both the Chiefs and the Royals to their side of the border.
That's Marshall Griffin reporting ahead of the Labor Day holiday travel weekend. Missouri's statewide average for regular gasoline continues to drop. It's now $3.05 for regular. This is Missouri Net.
Not everyone recognizes that they might have a gambling problem. How do you know if gambling is a problem for you? Ask yourself if either or both of the following questions are accurate. Have you felt the need to bet more and more money? Have you ever lied to people important to you about how much you gambled? If your answer is yes to either of these questions, free help is available. Call 1-888-BETS-OFF for more information.
7 million children suffer from asthma, more than any other chronic disease. Most asthma attacks are caused by allergic reactions to allergens, including those left behind by cockroaches and mice. In fact, 82% of U.S. households contain mouse allergens, and cockroaches are found in up to 98% of urban homes. How can you protect your family? Find out at pestworld.org. A message from the National Pest Management Association and the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology.
An man was sentenced to 50 years in jail after being found guilty of a stabbing death in 2021. A jury convicted Robin Morales Sanchez of voluntary manslaughter, assault, and 2 counts of armed criminal action in July, according to KRCG-TV. A Jefferson City woman helped Morales Sanchez flee to Kansas. They were both arrested days later. For several months, Missouri has been behind in paying several child care centers because of glitches in a new subsidy payment system. Governor Mike Parson says the money is sitting in the bank, but the centers are not expected to get paid until after lawmakers return.
Some of the financing behind that, and you're going to have to do a supplemental bill just to pay the bills.
Representative Crystal Quaid tells KMOX in St. Louis that many child care centers have already had to close their doors. 3 zip codes in Missouri have been named among the top 50 hottest zip codes in the U.S. by Realtor.com. The criteria for being a hot zip code include market demand, how many properties are viewed by prospective buyers, and market pace. This is Missouri Net.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events. Make sure you have the right policy for each of life's wins.
Call Sandy Turner at 107B North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-528-8443.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finished slightly higher, and the Dow posted its second straight record close, its 24th of the year, as investors await a highly anticipated quarterly earnings report from chipmaker NVIDIA on Wednesday and fresh inflation data on Friday. The Dow up 10 points, the Nasdaq higher by 29, S&P 500 up 9. In response to high demand for its weight loss treatment, pharma giant Eli Lilly announced that single-dose vials of popular Zepbound, priced at a 50% or more discount to other weight loss drugs, will be available for self-pay for patients with an on-label prescription. Shares of Lilly rose slightly on the news. And shares of Nordstrom are jumping after hours. The luxury department store chain beat Wall Street earnings estimates and raised its full-year guidance. Its off-price banner Nordstrom Rack has helped boost its growth. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial...
Old Monroe Lumber and Rental has the largest stocking lumber yard in the area, and the best prices too. Bring in your building plans to Old Monroe Lumber and Rental for a complete material list, from steel beams to doorknobs. And check out your windows, doors, siding, and trim in their 2,400 square foot showroom before you buy. Old Monroe Lumber and Rental will load it for you And if it's more than you can haul, Old Monroe Lumber and Rental will deliver it free. Online at omlumber.com.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monsi Bolaños.
NFL owners have approved allowing the sale of up to 10% of a stake in a franchise to a select number of private equity firms that the league has vetted over the past few months. This is according to ESPN. The Browns have released running back Deontay Foreman, and the Dolphins have moved wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. along with linebacker Bradley Chubb to the physically unable to perform list, meaning that they will miss at least the first 4 games of the regular season. The 49ers have activated safety Talanoa Hufanga from that physically unable to perform list, but they did place linebacker Dre Greenlaw on the PUP list. The Chargers have released veteran tight end Donald Parham Jr., and the Seahawks have released quarterback PJ Walker, while the Packers have placed running back A.J. Dillon on season-ending injured reserve because of a neck injury. Brothers Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce have agreed on a new 3-year deal worth more than $100 million for their podcast New Heights with Amazon's Wondery.
It's 5:10 in East Central Missouri, and you're on the Newswatch PM edition. Traffic and weather together on the 10s. Starts right now.
East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
News Radio KYRO traffic. Well, give yourself plenty of time if you're heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The westbound side is 64. There's jammed up traffic that begins before 364. That opens up gradually around toward I-70 as you head toward Wentzville. I-70, you'll hit the brakes pretty heavy in towards St. Peter's at Highway 79. And beyond that, you're a little sluggish in spots as you head in toward Wentzville, approaching I-64. And 61 North is a pretty good ride in toward Troy, toward Highway 47. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 70 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 90s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 100s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy, it's 100. In Warrenton, it's 98 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Need that morning pick-me-up on your way to work? Downtown Winfield's the place to be. Common Grounds Coffee House, featuring the almost world-famous Block 25. Common Grounds Coffee House. Check us out on Facebook or stop by today. 205 Main Street, downtown Winfield.
This moment of calm is brought to you by American National. Because life on the farm is stressful and insurance shouldn't be. American National. Relax. We're here. American National Property and Casualty Company and Affiliates, Springfield, Missouri.
The very latest ag news from the Brownfield Network, brought to you this hour by the Wrecking Crew in Troy, Winfield, and Vandalia. Call 636-462-1727.
Soybeans, corn, cattle, and hogs were higher Tuesday. I'm John Perkins with the Brownfield Market Update. For decades, Stein has represented simply the best in corn genetics, offering more than 50 lines of the highest performing corn, featuring a broad range of traits. Stein has yield. Soybeans are up on short covering, technical buying, and the weakness in the dollar during the session. Near-term conditions do look hot in much of the region, potentially stressing this year's crop. That could trim the USDA's projected record yield estimate, with the next guess out September 12th. September beans were up 7 3/4 at 967.5. November was 5 3/4 higher at 986.5. September soybean meal was up $5.20 at $317.30. September soybean oil was down 55 points at $41.15. Corn was up on short covering and technical buying, bouncing off of Monday's contract low in December, monitoring late development weather and early harvest activity. Mexico did purchase nearly 130,000 tons of new crop U.S. corn ahead of the open. The new marketing year for corn and for soybeans starts this Sunday. September corn was 5 1/4 higher at $367 1/4. December was up 6 1/4 at $392 3/4. And on short covering, technical buying, and the lower trade in the dollar index during the session, wheat was able to generate some new interest after the recent run to new lows. September Chicago was 10 1/4 higher at $508 1/4. September Kansas City was up 13 3/4 at $538 3/4. September Minneapolis was up 4 3/4 at $546 1/4. Live and feeder cattle were higher on technical buying ahead of this week's direct business. More on that in a moment. October live was up $242 at $179.40. December was $247 higher at $178.85. Most active October feeders are up 90 cents at $238.37. And oversold, October hogs are up $1.67 at $82.07. December was 95 higher at $71.65. I will be back after this brief break with your full look at the cash livestock markets.
ADM Regenerations is the industry's leading program for rewarding ag producers for conservation practices on their farms. ADM makes it easy to enroll and participate. There are no long-term commitments, and we pay generously for practices like cover crops, emission scoring, no-till, and nutrient management practices. ADM appreciates all you do to protect your land and legacy, and we believe you should be rewarded for it. To learn more about your state's incentives, visit admregenerations.com.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for home sweet home. We're for condos, tutors, single wides, and studios. We're for ranches, houseboats, 2 stories or 20. Red cedar, bluebirds, white squirrels, black walnuts, whatever's out your back door, we're for that. We're for watching the sun rise over the Mississippi and set over the Missouri. We're for kicking off your heels in a high-rise or hanging up your hat in the boot heel. And if you have a home in Missouri, we have a policy for you. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we've got Missouri covered.
Part direct cash cattle business remained at a standstill on Tuesday with no bids or asking prices being reported. Widespread direct cash cattle business will seemingly wait until at least Wednesday. Box beef was mixed with moderate movement. Choice was down $3.93 at $311.97, and select beef was up 6 cents at $300.25. The estimated cattle slaughter of 121,000 head was down 3,000 on the week and about 5,500 on the year. The major direct hog markets closed lower with moderate negotiated numbers. National direct barrows and gilts were down 62 cents with a weighted average of 79.55. Iowa Southern Minnesota was 52 lower at 79.41. The Western Corn Belt was down 41 cents on the day at 79.51. Midwest butcher markets were steady at 66. The pork carcass cutout value did close $1.07 higher at 96.05. The estimated hog slaughter of 479,000 head was down 3,000 on the week, but up just over 1,000 on the year. John Perkins, Brownfield.
What's going on, everybody? This is your political savior of Missouri, Mark Bland, and the host of the Q Now. Are you excited? Because we are coming to you every Thursday night live from 7 to 9 p.m. You can listen to the Q Now with Mark Bland and Jason Call right here on News Radio, KYRO.com, 1280 AM, 105.3 FM, KYRO. We're excited. We can't wait to see you. See ya every single Thursday night at 7 p.m.
The Wrecking Crew. What do you guys do here?
We recycle. Our typical business is picking up stuff that nobody else can get.
People may have a lot of money laying in their property and they just don't realize it.
They do. A lot of money sometimes, and not where you would think it would be.
Where are you located?
Troy, Winfield, Vandalia, Missouri. And we do boxes, trailers. We cut stuff up on site. We do insurance work. Farmers, if you have a burnt building or wind damaged building or grain bin, that's our specialty.
How do they get a hold of you?
Call me personally or call the office.
The Wrecking Crew, 636-462-1727. Hi, everybody. This is News Radio KYRO, Vice President and General Manager John Chepper, and I have a question for you. Have you ever considered hosting a foreign exchange student? If you haven't, perhaps the time is now. You can host a high school student from another country who lives with your family for 5 to 10 months, a new international branch for your family tree, and an opportunity to share your part of America with an international teenager. AYUSA has been connecting families around the world for over 30 years. A track record of trust with compassionate, engaged student leaders and personalized host family support. There's no typical family. No matter where you live or how your family is structured, there's a student waiting for a family like yours for a unique opportunity. Find out more by contacting the AYUSA local representative Tricia Schneidermeyer at 636-295-7224. Explore the wonderful opportunities that AYUSA has to offer, connecting families around the world for over 30 years.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 18 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock. You're on Newswatch Late Edition. Sarge and Burgundy going to maneuver you through. Rick will be coming up here in just a few minutes with a traffic update, and hopefully it's not too bad.
Second day of it being hot out there.
it's just downright nasty.
It is.
It is. It's horrible out
We've
there.
got some relief coming, though.
Okay, so if you're on the roadways, you're headed north on 61, anywhere from Bowling Green north, you're going to contend with some severe thunderstorms right now.
Yep.
There are some, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Ribbit. But anyway, yeah, be careful if you're heading north on 61 because there are some nasty storms up there you need to be aware of. So, today on the show, when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about, honestly, Sarge, one of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
That's economic development.
For sure.
And Julie is in here from the Lincoln County Economic Development Office. Yes, and she's going to let us know about all things Lincoln County, the great things on the forefront.
Sounds good.
This is a great place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing that because the residential growth right now and the commercial growth is just amazing. And we will talk about that for about the next 40 minutes or so. So stay tuned for that. 101 degrees. We set a record today.
Ooh, yeah.
145-year-old record.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
wow.
It's not that crazy in mid-August to get hot like this, but I mean, this is late August, and it's generally not supposed to be like that.
Well, like I said, there's going to be relief. Tomorrow's only going to be low 90s. Tomorrow and Thursday.
20 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, time for traffic.
News Radio KYRO traffic. You'll give yourself plenty of time if you're heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The westbound side is 64. There's jammed up traffic that begins before 364. That opens up gradually around toward I-70 as you head toward Wentzville. I-70, you'll hit the brakes pretty heavy in towards St. Peter's at Highway 79. And beyond, that's a little sluggish in spots as you head in toward Wentzville, approaching I-64. And 61 North is a pretty good ride in toward Troy, toward Highway 47. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 70 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 90s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 100s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy, it's 100. In Warrenton, it's 98 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
You know, a lot of people have boats, RVs, horse trailers, all kinds of things. Have you ever thought about insuring them? Well, if you haven't, then you should. Safe Harbor Insurance. Over in Winfield, look them up on Facebook at Safe Harbor Insurance or give them a call at 668-6296. They're brokers, so they can save you money, protect your boat, RV, whatever it is you have. Safe Harbor Insurance. Give them a call at 636-668-6296 and see how much money Dave and Holly can save you.
Hey everybody, it's 21 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock. You are on Newswatch Late Edition, broadcasting from the Palatius Gateway Fiber Studios. And we broadcast to you courtesy of Gateway Fiber, so
that's right.
That's always a good thing. So Julie, from the Economic Development Organization for Lincoln County, and she does a fantabulous job. And you've been with the organization, what now, 10 years?
I've been there 11 years. I've been about 11 years now. I've been the executive director for 4. But it's a great organization. Love working for it. It is a county organization. So
right.
Our office, I report to the 3 county commissioners.
Oh, okay.
About 11 years ago. So the Economic Development Office used to also be housed with emergency management, floodplain, and it was all together. And Kelly Hardcastle ran it, and did a great job. When he left, they decided to actually, kind of divide it up and bring in. Kind of dedicate a little bit more resources to that. About that time, I was brought in to help both those offices get set up, and then went full-time in the Economic Development Office and have been there ever since.
So I moved up here in 2001 originally, and from about 2000, I want to say late 2003 to about 2008, when the economy crashed, we went through a boom in Lincoln County. I mean, we had subdivisions going up left and right. Everybody was moving out here. Now, when the economy crashed, that slowed down to a trickle. But now, I'm not going to say we're seeing pre-2008 numbers, but we're not that far off.
We are not that far off. We are the fastest growing county by percentage in the St. Louis MSA, which is 16 counties in Illinois and Missouri.
Right.
We are fourth in the state. Now, at the last census, we were number 2, and it's not that we've slowed down on growth. Over there, Kansas City area has just seen a tremendous amount of growth.
Well, Lake of the Ozarks.
And Lake of the Ozarks. Christian County, a lot of areas really exploded like us, but we are still just growing at a very, very rapid pace. And with that, it brings a lot of challenges, but a lot of great things as well. So that is kind of my job, is to help assist in all those things. So economic development, a lot of people don't know exactly what I do. It is a variety of things. The number one thing I'm tasked to do is to bring new business to Lincoln County. But when I say that, we really try to focus on those things that are really good for Lincoln County. Not every project is a great fit.
Sure.
We really want to focus on those companies that are here to make the investment, that are going to bring some very good, high-paying jobs to the community. We have a lot of people that still have to leave Lincoln County for work. And we have one of the highest commute times in the state of Missouri. It's not by a large amount, but it is one of the higher amounts. But we're close to St. Charles County, close to St. Louis, close to some of those really high-tech, high-paying jobs.
So what a difference it would make, and this has been a topic of conversation for well over 20 years. For whatever reason or not, Highway 79 is still too late. And they had targeted that for a improvement to a 4-lane road, my gosh, late 90s, I think, and it has never happened. And the difference that would make, if you ever commute on that road in the morning, I mean, it's bumper to bumper.
It's scary, and it's dangerous, and it needs improvements. And there's a lot of speculation why that's not happened, why the expansion of Highway 79 is not there. So I also sit on the Lincoln County MoDOT Transportation Advisory Committee. TAC committee for short. And what we do is we propose projects to MoDOT in our county that need improvement, that need expansion. Of course, Highway 79 is one of the top priorities, we feel like.
So what kind of answers do you get when that question comes up?
Funding, there's higher priority projects, lack of easements. There's a lot of concerns. I will say, though, and MoDOT came to us, so we're in the Northeast District, MoDOT's district, Hannibal, out of the Hannibal office. But we butt up to St. Charles County, which is in the St. Louis District. And very recently, the St. Louis District and the Northeast District have gotten together to discuss the issues in 79, because there's been a lot of accidents the last couple of years. Some fatalities.
Honestly, it used to be a lot worse. Before they widened the road and before they kind of straightened out the S-curve a little bit between Old Monroe and Winfield, it seemed like you had a serious accident at least once a week out there.
So, but, you know, all the districts don't always collaborate and work. Everybody kind of has, this is my territory, I'm only going to worry about here. But now they're saying that they're really going to have to collaborate. So we were encouraged by the St. Louis District, Northeast District to kind of get together and put this on the list, move it up the priority list. And we're hoping to see some real work and maybe some commitment to do that in the next coming years. There's also been a group formed out of the St. Louis District that is looking at the Highway 61 corridor there, where you've got Wentzville leading up to basically Troy, because we also know that's a nightmare. So there is a group that has been put together from both counties that is looking at how we fix that. You know, we know we need to go to interstate status. But
well, yeah, I mean, even if just, you know, for example, for 61, and that's been a hot topic forever, because I remember in the 90s when they were first making that a 4-lane road up to Keokuk, when they were going through that transition, it was even worse. But to make that, I mean, right now it's limited access, but it needs to be a no access. It needs to be a freeway.
And that's what the goal is. That's what MoDOT's goal is, to eliminate all those at-grade crossings. There's certain requirements that have to be met before you can be interstate status. No at-grade crossings, have to be outer roads all the way up. So we're working towards those goals. You know, it's expensive.
Sure.
You have to plan. You've got to get easements. You got to look at a lot of things that go into that. So unfortunately, it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not happened as quickly as it's needed to.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of discussions that go on all the time.
Now, on the 61 thing, I know that there was originally a plan for that to become Interstate 64 all the way to Minneapolis, which would be a game changer as far as transport in this part of the country.
Oh, that'd be huge. So now, like I said, the goal is, and Eric Tapley, who's the county highway department director, and we've been kind of alternating going to these meetings. And there are some plans in the southern part of 61, more in the St. Charles County area, to working its way up to at least to Troy 47 overpass interchange, to make the improvements needed to at least get that Highway 64 started. It's gonna take some time, but they're at least finally talking about, let's start putting some of these things into place.
And we're coming up against a break here, but the economic development you would see on the eastern side of the county, if that became 4-lane overnight, I think Winfield would become Cottleville.
It would help. It would help tremendously. Lots of opportunities.
So that's one of the main inhibitors. All right, so coming up, we're going to have an update at 5:30 of traffic and weather. And Sarge, still pretty hot out there.
It is. It's 100 degrees out there right now.
Oh, we've dropped a degree.
We've dropped a degree in Troy.
Okay, well, go find my sweater.
98 here in Winfield.
No, right. It is hot. All right, it's 5:30 in East Central Missouri, and coming to you live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, you're on Newswatch, late edition.
News Radio KYRO traffic. Well, give yourself plenty of time if you're heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The westbound side is 64. There's jammed up traffic that begins before 364. That opens up gradually around toward I-70 as you head toward Wentzville. I-70, you'll hit the brakes pretty heavy in towards St. Peter's at Highway 79. And beyond, that's you're a little sluggish in spots as you head in toward Wentzville, approaching I-64. And 61 North is a pretty good ride in toward Troy, toward Highway 47. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 70 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 90s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 100s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy, it's 100. In Warrenton, it's 98 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance in Big Rapids, Michigan, detailing how the Trump-Vance administration would make changes to global manufacturing.
We have to stop paying Chinese manufacturers to manufacture, whether it's here or overseas. We want to build an American manufacturing industry and an American middle class.
Former President Trump writes on Truth Social, the Harris campaign has agreed to the debate on ABC coming up September 10th. The microphones reportedly will be muted while the other candidate is speaking. Let's talk about Meta, the parent company of Facebook. They say the Biden administration tried to pressure them into removing certain content related to the pandemic. Arkansas Congressman French Hill on Fox Business.
So these social media platforms have got to honor their commitment to the American people as a free and open space.
Well, the White House says they were encouraging responsible actions to protect public health and safety. The CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, wrote a letter to Congress apologizing. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024, the trend is accelerating. Why? Because central banks have lost faith in the dollar. And in these uncertain times, gold is the ultimate safe haven. If you too are worried about the dollar, I urge you to take similar action by diversifying your IRA or 401k into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SECURE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text SECURE to 989898. That's SECURE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
Message and data rates may apply.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for road trips. We're for covering as much ground as possible on 2, 4, or 18 wheels. We're for drop tops, T-tops, classics, cruisers, pickup trucks, and dump trucks. We're for displaying Missouri plates like medals of pride. Have you ever hit a deer? Yep, we're for you too. We're for getting stuck behind a tractor on a 2-lane highway. And if you're a Missouri driver, we have an auto policy for you.
Call Sandy Turner at 107B North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-528-8443.
And welcome back. 33 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock. Hey, don't forget, coming up immediately following our broadcast, Bill O'Reilly will be in with the No Spin Zone. And after that, at 7, it is the debut, for this season anyway, broadcast of Tiger Talk, live from Columbia. We'll be talking all things Mizzou.
That's right.
So Mr. Kelly and Mr. Thousands of people.
It's gonna be fun to hear that.
Thousands of people. Yeah,
That's right.
We'll be on the air and we'll be.
And guess what?
What?
Just as soon as I said 98 for Winfield a few moments ago, it's now 97.
Oh well,
it's going down.
I'm in a celebratory mood. So Julie Huber Rogers is with us from the Lincoln County Economic Development Agency, and so. During the break, we were talking about some of the industrial projects and large commercial projects that we're kind of courting right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to turn the mic over to you and kind of explain, trying to do the groundwork, the infrastructure, water, sewer, electrical, all that good stuff that you do. That voodoo that you do.
That voodoo that I do.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, because it's tough. I mean, when you're trying to attract these large projects that everybody wants, everybody thinks that you go and you knock on the door like of Nabisco and say, come to Lincoln County. And it's not how it works. So we have an agency, public-private partnership called the Missouri Partnership in the state of Missouri that goes out and does attraction for national and international companies to come here to Missouri.
Right.
Or they are the ones that will get the leads. So if a project, so let's say a company wants to locate and they want to be in the Midwest, and they'll reach out to Missouri Partnership, who then sends out what this company is looking for and kind of the basic requirements. And everything has a code name, so we don't know who it is. So let's say it's, Project Microphone. And they'll tell me we need 300 acres, we need rail, it needs 1 million gallons of water a day, they're going to employ 500 people, and they're going to be doing light manufacturing. So then it's my job to find sites and stuff that meet all the requirements and put the information together. So I have to reach out to the power companies and if it's in a city, to make sure that it meets the zoning requirements, or the water if they got the capacity, and then submit that back into them. Usually we get about 3 days to do this, so it's a quick turnaround. And then you wait and hope you get a site visit. You hope they see something there in the site that makes a potential,
Sure.
for them to be interested. We have been at a disadvantage in Lincoln County because of the lack of infrastructure.
Sure.
We know we're behind in infrastructure. And years ago, there were plans to do some things, but when the economy went so bad and the recession, a lot of things stopped. So we've been back on that. When I took over as director a couple of years ago, I went to the commissioners and said, if we don't invest in infrastructure, all we have is a bunch of raw land. And nobody wants to take the time that you have to wait to develop that. I mean, it's a very lengthy process if you're going to bring in new roads or bring in power. So they agreed, and they've let me really spend a lot of time focusing on developing infrastructure. One of the big things is water. Most of the county is not served, honestly, by public water, and we don't have the capacity we need. So we've received $30 million from the state of Missouri, and we have a $10 million match that we received from ARPA funds to actually put in a water improvement system here in Lincoln County. So we're looking at putting some wells in along the eastern side of the county here, because we have access to the alluvial wells, aquifers and stuff.
Right.
And a treatment plant. And then we would take and pipe from there. We can just anywhere out to the county. So not only would we have a water system, but then we could provide water to PWSD1 or the city of Troy or Ellsbury if they need it. And everybody doesn't have to keep trying to dig wells and hope and cross their fingers that they get good water.
Yeah.
If you go north of Highway 47, the chances of putting a well in and getting good water without the radionuclides and all that are very, very slim. And Danny Flynn will tell you all this. Danny's been a good advisor to me on this project. So we're spending a lot of time working on that.
Danny's a magical guy.
He's a magical guy.
he can just walk through a field. Yeah, there's water right here. And 9 times out of 10, he's absolutely right. Yeah.
And he's been telling me for years that we need to come over here to the eastern side of the county. We need to put some wells in the aquifers. We need to get the water from the river because it's the end of the supply. Because some of these projects that we are chasing are very, very, very heavy water users. The American Food Group project down in Wright City,
right.
They started asking for 1.5 million gallons of water a day. That's huge. That's absolutely the city of Troy.
But they're able to provide that.
Well, they're building it. They didn't have it either, but we didn't even have plans of where we would get that water. So we weren't even able to submit a site because I couldn't even tell them where we could get it. Now at least I have feasibility studies that would show them.
Yeah.
Here's how we could get your water. Here's the time it would take.
So talk to Ron McKnight down at Wright City Fire and some of the folks down in Warren County. That industrial complex is going to be a game changer for Warren County, the entire county. And so, I mean, the tax dollars that's going to bring in and the infrastructure money is just amazing.
It is amazing. It is going to be huge for that area and also for us, though. And they're going to be buying 2,500 head of beef a day. So that's going to really, serve a lot of our beef producers and stuff up here. We also, some of our companies are going to be doing some work for them. Just, because they've got a lot of needs and stuff down there. So that's a good regional project.
All right. Sounds good. We'll have more with Julie after the new traffic and weather break coming up. You're listening to Newswatch, late edition on News Radio KYRO. Be right back.
News Radio KYRO traffic. Well, give yourself plenty of time if you're heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The westbound side is 64. There's jammed up traffic that begins before 364. That opens up gradually around toward I-70 as you head toward Wentzville. I-70, you'll hit the brakes pretty heavy in towards St. Peter's at Highway 79. And beyond, you're a little sluggish in spots as you head in toward Wentzville, approaching I-64. And 61 North is a pretty good ride in toward Troy, toward Highway 47. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 70 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 90s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 100s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 100. In Warrenton it's 98 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground? Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar asks, ever wonder what it would be like to live in an alternate universe? One where everything seems to work just the opposite of the way you'd expect? Well, friends, welcome to the alternate universe of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. The taste is nothing less than outrageously delicious. And Mountain Dew Zero Sugar comes in awesomely exhilarating flavors, like Original Dew Zero Sugar, Mountain Dew Spark Zero Sugar, and Mountain Dew Major Melon Zero Sugar. Try the incredible flavors of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Zero Sugar, all dew.
41 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, and you're on Newswatch, late edition, live from the Gateway Fiber Studios in beautiful downtown, well, not downtown, Violaville, Winfield. Yes, Viola built this whole thing, by the way. Remember that lady? Yeah, so the entire little neighborhood out here. So Julie Uber Rogers is with us from the Lincoln County Economic Development Office, and continuing on with where we're at, having to be able to provide the infrastructure, water, sewer, power, things like that, that holds regions back. It does. And, if you have the capability to deliver that in a big way, that's huge.
That is huge. And let's not leave out fiber. You keep saying this is the Gateway Fiber Studios. Yeah. Gateway Fiber has been a wonderful addition to Lincoln County. I worked with them when the very first build they did as a company was in Winfield. The city of Winfield, Mayor Ruckel at the time and I were working on, he was trying to attract fiber and stuff to the area, and his company came in, and I happened to know them when I was back in the private sector, Sellenrink Construction. Sellenrink was involved in that.
Yeah.
And they came in and did a fabulous job. And I, from there, connected them with a lot of our other cities in which they have, wired them up as well. The county actually, when we received some CARES money, when COVID was going on, we used some of it to actually support some of our fiber companies and stuff to bring broadband, because we all learned as much as we needed it, we really found out how badly we needed it.
Well, I know when we started looking for a place to relocate the radio station up here from Lake St. Louis, that was one of the limiters on where you can go, because we're a big user of internet. Obviously, it's how we distribute our signal. And that being said, working with the folks from Gateway and everything else, they're wonderful to work with. All hours of the day and night if we have an issue. But anyway, that's one of the things we had to look for. That's the type of infrastructure we had to have. Sarge, you had a question?
Well, sure. And it's just to give the listeners an idea, you had said a little bit ago about time and constraints and all that kind of thing. What's some of the latest projects that you've been able to complete, and how long did they actually take? And what do those projects detail?
So, they're all different because every company has different needs and is looking for different things. Some of the current projects that I'm working on actually is we have 4 big expansion projects going on with fabrication shops. Everything from Elite Tool there in Moscow Mills, which is Frank Roth. He's building a 120,000 square foot building. Of course, he had to have land, needed it to be close, needed the power he needed, which we worked with KYRO River Electric to make sure he's getting the upgrades he needs. I'm working another with a tool and die shop up in a Silex area. They were having problems. They're kind of tucked away back there. They needed road improvements. I took Eric Tapley, the County Highway Department director, up there. We looked at what we can do because they're building a new building. They're hiring some new employees. So this all money comes back to the county. So we invest in helping them do what they need to do. But those things all take a couple years to get done. And when we're trying to attract a new project from start to finish, from the time I first get that first lead till maybe you complete it and even break ground, it can be 2 years. A lot of permitting. We don't have planning and zoning in Lincoln County, but that doesn't mean there's not permitting in other areas. Maybe the fire district has some, or water and sewer things that have to happen. So it's a very long, lengthy process.
So I love breaking news, and I know you do too. What I know there's some things you can't talk about, obviously. What are some of the things? Give us some nuggets.
Some nuggets.
What's over the horizon?
What's over the horizon? Well, we have something really exciting we're working on, which is actually going to be really exciting here for the eastern side of the county. 2 years ago, commissioners came to me, had a concern on the river with getting access to the river. So they said, would you take a look at the Foley boat launch area and see if we can get any money or do anything from there. So I went and looked at it and kind of looked at Winfield Lock and Dam, and we know the Winfield Lock and Dam is getting a major expansion project here.
It's like a 5 to 7 year project.
5 to 7 year project. Yeah. They're going to bring in 300 to 500 people, employees and stuff to work, which is going to be huge boom for the economy.
Well, you'll
have
here. People move here and buy houses for that.
They will do that. They will also bring in their RVs. They're very nice RVs. These are good paying jobs. These people are going to come here and camp out, to work during the week, go home May in the weekends. So I've been working with our cities too, how we can prepare for that, how our small businesses can benefit. So we were looking at all that. So I was looking at and then Aaron Lee, who was on last night, and they very concerned. They don't have good public access to get to the river if they've got emergency. And I mean, it's an issue. We've been lucky and got some private, but so anyway, I started looking at that project and understand that we only treat the Mississippi like it's a bad thing. We don't look at the recreational and tourism opportunities that are there, like many cities do. So I was doing a little traveling. I'm a big hiker, and I was over in the Grafton area and saw what they had done over there. So I came back and I looked at Commissioner and said, I'm going to work on this, but we're going to really ramp this up, and we're going to make it a very accessible, all accessible, handicap accessible, family-friendly recreation area, tie it into the hiking and biking trails on the levee, and really bring in some tourism here.
I'm so happy to hear that. And the reason I'm so happy to hear that is that portion of Lincoln County, basically on the east side of Highway 79, all the way from the St. Charles County line to the Pike County line, for so many years has just been treated like a wasteland. It's floodplain, we can't build anything, blah, blah, blah. I've never felt that way.
No?
Yes, it is going to flood. The Mississippi River floods. There's no question about that. But that doesn't mean that you don't have some of the best recreational opportunities out there, perhaps even industrial opportunities. I know the port thing kind of came and went. But that doesn't change the fact that this is prime opportunity.
It absolutely is. I mentioned the commissioners a couple of years ago. We have all the levee systems. St. Charles County has developed a greenway system for the hiking and biking trails and stuff that runs the whole thing. I said, part of it goes through Old St. Peter's. I said, we can eventually connect into that if we extend those hiking and biking trails and bring all those tourism dollars up to especially the eastern side of the county. The State Parks Association came in, met with the commissioners, and kind of said the same thing. You guys should look at this. So then my idea wasn't such a bad idea, right? But the big hurdle with trying to even start with the Foley thing is that land is owned by the Corps of Engineers. So I had to get permission from the Corps of Engineers to use the land. And I said, can we lease this from you? Let's do a 99-year lease. We'll do all the work. We'll maintain. Just give us permission. Took a long time, finally sat down with the right people, and very recently we got a thumbs up. They said, do what you want to do. We love the idea. I've got some plans all drawn up. We just won't pay for it. So now I'm chasing money.
I see how that works.
Mm.
It is 50 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, and you're on Newswatch, late edition, and we're taking you home in style. Julie Huber-Rogers from Lincoln County Economic Development is our guest. We've got one more segment coming up with her before the top of the hour. Stay tuned. Right now, let's get an update of traffic and weather.
News Radio KYRO traffic. Well, give yourself plenty of time if you're heading in toward Lake St. Louis. The westbound side is 64. There's jammed up traffic that begins before 364. That opens up gradually around toward I-70 as you head toward Wentzville. I-70, you'll hit the brakes pretty heavy in towards St. Peter's at Highway 79. And beyond, that's you're a little sluggish in spots as you head in toward Wentzville, approaching I-64. And 61 North is a pretty good ride in toward Troy, toward Highway 47. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 70 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 90s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 100s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 97. In Warrenton it's 95 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground? Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
The question of natural disasters is no matter of if, but a matter of when. You see, we live in Missouri and the weather is always changing. We have major ice storms, tornadoes, hail, we have all kinds of things. And it's important to make sure that your home, auto, business, whatever it is that you have is properly insured to protect you from natural disasters. Go and talk to my friends Dave and Holly at Safe Harbor Insurance. Do what I did and save hundreds of dollars. Give them a call, 636-668-6296, or find them on Facebook.
And welcome back, everybody. 5:51 in East Central Missouri. If you're going home, Rick kind of give us an update on the roads. Not too bad for a Tuesday night.
I've got some breaking news for you. Winfield's temperature now is down to 96, and Troy has now down to 99.
Well, we need. You see how now that's that's good information, Sarge. We're 4 degrees cooler in Winfield than it is in Troy.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Julie Huber-Rogers is with us on Newswatch, late edition this evening, and this hour has flown by. We're talking about some of the things that are coming together. The Greenway project, that's huge news.
That is huge. Very exciting for a lot of reasons. And like you said, we've just neglected to look at the river and all this land over here is great recreational opportunities. And that brings in a lot of tourism. A lot of small businesses can really benefit from that over here. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
There's so many different things my office gets involved in. Education. I was on the team that brought Rankin Technical College to Lincoln County.
Mhm.
That was a 3-year project. It took us
Mhm.
3 years to get them here, because Rankin wanted us to prove to them that industry and education, public education, would support them. We're still very engaged. We've got a meeting next week with some of our industry leaders in Rankin, talking about how we do a better job of maybe getting more high school kids into the program and do apprenticeship programs so they can earn and learn at the same time. That's huge. That's huge for our kids. Not everybody needs or should go away to 4-year college. Some of those kids, we got a lot of kids who are still working on the farm, and they want to learn a trade. They have to still work outside of the farm, but they want to stick around here. And we've got some great companies paying some really good wages that are trying to attract that skilled talent. So
when you kind of cross over that threshold, and Lincoln County, as long as I can remember, has been a commuter county. People work in St. Louis County, St. Charles County, what have you. When you can cross over that threshold, when you have a higher percentage of people that live here and work here, that's what really makes the difference. And it being in media for all these years, we've had a radio station or two here in the county since, 2008. That's always been an issue, because when a community really identifies, or a county really identifies, okay, we're Lincoln County, we're not part, the northernmost suburb of St. Louis, okay, when you cross over that threshold, that's when you really get that identity.
I agree. And that's why we're really trying to focus on those things that make a difference. We want to be a place that our young people want to stay and live and start businesses. We want to support our businesses. I started off talking about my job is to attract new businesses, but I will tell you 80% of my time, that time is actually spent with those who are already here and already made the investment in trying to grow. Why would we ever want to do anything that hurts Toyota or hurts Elite or hurts Whitty Brothers? I mean, They've been here for a lot of years and employed a lot of our friends and our neighbors and family and put back into the community. So we want to make sure our number one priority is taking care of them and whatever their needs may be. So if we're not doing a good job of that, nobody's coming here.
Right.
So education, we got to bring education here so we can train, and that's why I started chasing Rankin. We looked at everybody, but they were kind of the last ones that said they really wanted to be here. It's because my industry leader said, bring us some kind of training that we can start getting a closer connection with our local high schools, get these kids trained, get them jobs, and let's keep them here. So we want to be seen as that community, though, who really supports our business community, supports our education partners, all those things. We also want to be seen as collaborative. We work together well. I work with all the cities. I go to their city council meetings. I work with the fire districts. I work with our school partners.
You're a busy woman.
I'm a very busy woman, yeah. Yeah, very busy. But I love what I do. I get a great job. But in Lincoln County, I think for the most part, we work together well. And that's not always the case.
So now, you talk about, post-secondary education or colleges, and that's kind of one thing I've always felt that would really, I think, work here. And I'm not talking about satellite campuses, because you've got Missouri Baptist. They do a great job.
They left.
That's right, they did.
They left. They're gone. They picked
Wow.
up and left.
Huh.
Well, they were bought. The building was bought out. The
Okay.
church, North Road. We have nothing right now.
This county would be prime for a primary campus college.
So Dr. Mark Penny, before he left, he just retired this year, and I were working on that. Mark and I are still going to continue to work on that, even though he's kind of retired. He's working now with Lindenwood University. He's kind of interim dean and stuff over there. But there is a group of us that are still pursuing that. We are in the St. Charles Community College District, but I'll be very honest. We've tried to get more, for them to do more up here, and they've not been really receptive to that without us passing a tax.
Yeah. So what would it take to get our own community college district?
Well, that would
besides a referendum, obviously.
That would be difficult. And I've expressed concerns. I'll be honest. I'll be very open about this. That I've expressed concerns with the State Department of Higher Ed and stuff. that we've not they're not been receptive to us. So we are not above talking to some other the good community colleges around the state that are doing a great job and talking about them. So we are pursuing it.
Yeah, having lived in Lake of the Ozarks, I know we had the referendum where Ozarks Technical was trying to come into Camden County and all that. There were a lot of people in favor of that, but State Fair had to step up their game. So,
Yep.
but yeah, there's a lot of junior colleges and maybe even some four-year universities. I would think this area would be prime for something like that.
I agree. And that is, I have a list of priorities that I'm always working on, and that is one of my top priorities.
Got a minute and a half left. I'll turn the mic over to you. What types of things would you like to let the general public of Lincoln County know?
Golly gee, that I guess I want them to understand that we do a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into economic development. It's supporting those who are here, helping them grow, attracting businesses that make sense. But a lot of it is spent truly on growing our community, whether it's infrastructure, things like, the recreation centers on the river, education. And I work closely, too, with all the chambers, the Tri-Chamber of Commerce, the Ellsbury Community Growth Association, community partners. All those things make a big difference in growing our community.
Sarge, you got something?
Well, I was just going to say, with all these different projects that's going on and stuff, the money for those type of projects, taxpayer money at work.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And some of those, a lot of those we are pursuing kind of the state or federal dollars. It depends. Sometimes there's money out there. Sometimes the county invests, they put their own money in the broadband. So it is. So we want to make sure we're good stewards of that for sure.
For sure.
Julie, I feel like we could go on for another 2 hours here, but our time is growing short. We want to have you back on as soon as possible. Okay, we'll get our people will talk to your people.
That sounds great. We'll schedule that.
Thanks to our guest on Newswatch Late Edition, Julie Huber-Rogers from the Lincoln County Economic Development Agency. We're out of time. It's 6 o'clock in the Heartland.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 6 o'clock in the Heartland.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. Former President Trump agreeing to a September 10th presidential debate on ABC. Republican National Committee co-chair Laura Trump says the former president has been very agreeable to debate.
There's never been a question that Donald Trump wants debates. He's ready to do the September 4th Fox debate, which, not surprisingly, Martha, Kamala Harris and her team cannot agree to.
Well, the vice president and her running mate Tim Walz will set for the first major interview since the DNC Thursday night on CNN. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder on the Fox News Channel with an update on where things stand on ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas.
It's important to continue this full court press to get this ceasefire deal and to get these hostages released. And as I understand it, those talks continue, and we're hopeful that a deal will be reached.
America is listening to Fox News.
It's 6:02 in East Central Missouri. Time for the news. Brought to you by American National Insurance to protect your operation. Named one of Forbes magazine's best insurance companies in 2024. And now the news.
Missouri Net News, I'm Anthony Morabith. Missouri is home to over 500 cooling centers, many of which are libraries. All four libraries that make up the Little Dixie Regional Library System in northern Missouri's Randolph and Monroe counties are open to keep you cool. Moberly Public Library is one center that's been keeping busy amidst the latest heat wave, according to Director Rachel Grimm.
We have such a wide variety of things, and so when you talked about, spending money at a movie theater, we all know that costs a lot. That costs now. I mean, it's a little bit, and you can come in. We have Wi-Fi. We have internet.
Many Missouri child care centers are overdue money from the state, and they're not expected to be paid until after lawmakers return in January. That's according to Governor Mike Parson.
What's sad about that, the money's sitting in the bank.
Jackson County voters will not be voting on a proposal that would have created a Chiefs-only sales tax. The legislature voted against a measure that would have levied a 0.25% tax on sales throughout Jackson County. This is Missouri Net.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Summer is a great time for families, but you're so ready to get back in a routine at school, right? Part of getting ready for school is making sure your child is up to date on recommended vaccines. The Missouri Immunization Coalition is reminding you to visit your local health provider before school starts for immunizations to protect your child from potentially life-threatening diseases. See if your child is up to date on immunizations at moimmunize.org.
You've got the school supplies. Don't forget to immunize.
This moment of calm is brought to you by American National. Because life on the farm is stressful and insurance shouldn't be. American National. Relax. We're here. American National Property and Casualty Company and Affiliates, Springfield, Missouri.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finishing slightly higher with the Dow notching its second straight record close. Investors are cautious ahead of NVIDIA's potentially market-moving earnings report, which will be delivered after the closing bell on Wednesday. The chipmaker's report is seen as a potential make-or-break moment for the artificial intelligence trading craze. The Dow up 10 points, the Nasdaq higher by 29, S&P 500 up 9. Shares of Paramount Global fell 7% following news that media mogul Edgar Brofman Jr. was abandoning his bidding for National Amusements, through which Shari Redstone and her family control Paramount. Brofman's latest move likely seals the deal for Paramount to be sold to Skydance Media. Nordstrom stock is surging in extended trading after the high-end department store chain topped earnings estimates and slightly raised its full-year guidance. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional.
24-hour towing and recovery in Lincoln, Warren, Pike, or St. Charles County. Call B&B Towing 636-262-3865. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. B&B will be on the way. 636-262-3865.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Clear sky in Troy. Getting down to 70 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 90s, light rain likely. Temperatures in the lower 100s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 97. In Warrenton it's 95 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground? Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Here, as you know, and this is why you are watching and listening on our 300 radio stations across the country, we deal only with facts. And the Talking Points memo this evening is a new Associated Press poll. All right, so the AP called up, got in touch with, I don't really know how they do it on the internet, but 1,143 adults. And right away, there's a problem. You don't poll adults. You poll likely voters or registered voters, because if you're getting into the adults, then you're getting into zones where nobody knows anything. So if you're not a registered voter, I'm sorry, polling is ridiculous, asking you questions. Okay, Democrat 44%, Republican 39%. That's a little imbalanced by the AP. It is a liberal organization, the Associated Press now, but not too bad, but it should be a little closer. First question. Are you pessimistic or optimistic about the state of politics in the country? All right, pessimistic, we're going into 82%. I mean, that's a colossal repudiation of the American political system. Only 18%, and most of them have to work for NBC News, like it the way it is. All right, generally speaking, would you say the things in this country are heading in the right or wrong direction. Right direction, 26%, wrong, 72%. Now, that should mean a landslide for the Republican Party. When you have 72%